Stay spooky, guys. It's story time. Hey YouTube, welcome to another episode of Spooky Dad. If you're new to the channel, we look at the spooky side of creativity for kids. We look at home activities, books, food, play and events, all for their enjoyment and development, all without the nightmares. I invite you to subscribe, tap that notification bell and share the scare. And to my returning fans and patrons like Hannah Stewart, stay spooky, friend. So my boy loves a good story, and we've got plenty of books to go along and help him with that demand. In fact, one of the first books that we were given was actually by a friend of ours, and she gave us That's Not My Monster. Oh, it's like they even know us. So he loved it so much, we read it cover to cover, and well, it fell apart on us. But he loved it so much, that's the point I'm trying to make here. So for that, I'm going to be looking at this series today. Now, I should point out before we begin, I have never reviewed a book before. Book reviews are not my forte. I'm more doing live performances. So I apologise in advance if I miss something that's glaringly obvious, but nevertheless, I'm going to stumble through it as best as I can. If you want to throw any suggestions as to how I can review books better in the future, please leave a comment down in the description below. I'm sure I'm going to be reviewing so many more children's books in the future, so it's actually good for me to know where I can improve.
So the books themselves are part of a series called That's Not My, and then the title will vary on the animal, item, person that they're talking about in the context of the story. Part of the Usborne touchy-feely books, the collection has been around for 21 years, with 61 books ranging from fantasy, seasonal, animals, and vehicle theming. Now in the context of this series, we've been reading Bat, Monster, Witch, and Dragon. Now we are aware that the last one may be stretching it a little bit. And that's not to say that we've been exclusively reading these titles, we do have some of those others as well, but for the sake of the channel, we're just highlighting these today. The premise never changes. A tiny white mouse roams from page to page, claiming that the bat or witch etc. is not his because a certain part of them doesn't feel right, with the final page showing the right entity, encouraging the reader, baby, toddler to feel the area in question and to make connections with the description used to the texture that they're feeling, i.e. That's not my monster, its horns are too rough, encouraging the reader to feel how rough the horns actually are. The artwork is bright colours with simple design, so while you're fully aware that it is a bat etc, the detail isn't lost with the textured area, nor does the textured area take away from what the animation is. Each texture depicts a feel such as rough, fluffy, bumpy, shiny, and will be highlighted as such. For example, the bat's nose is too rough because the texture is that of one-sided Velcro, and so on. The pages are thick enough to not only install the texture in the centre of them, but also to encourage the baby to interact with the book themselves. We did this all the time with our son. We actively encouraged him to turn the page. This way he can identify when the page has been read completely and that it's time to read the next section. The language in these books is deliberately repetitive, which helps children make that connection with both the word and the texture to it. But they have on occasion altered the word but used the same texture. For example, the dragon's ears are too tufty and the bat's tummy is too fluffy, both of which are using faux fur as the texture. Presentation wise, each book is uniquely coloured, with some even adding a little something extra such as sparkly coverings. Now we noticed this in particular when we was reading That's Not My Mermaid. I think these books are great. They were the first books we started reading with our son and he quickly grasped that each texture will be different. So as he passes through each page, he immediately reaches out to touch the area. I'm really interested to see what other things these books are going to be looking at moving forward.
So that's it for this episode, guys. Let me know in the comments which of these you've read to your kids and which ones are their favourite, or yours for that matter. Don't forget, guys, if you want to see these a lot earlier than YouTube broadcasting, head on over to my Patreon page. You can become a member and reap the benefits. But if YouTube's more your thing, I understand. All I'll ask in return, guys, is to subscribe, tap that notification bell, and share the scare. So, until next time, guys, stay spooky.